Yeah, hi, I'm Shaun Bunn. I'm the Managing Director of Empire Metals, and we're here today to talk about the Pitfield Titanium project.
You are in sunny, well, not so sunny, it's quite foggy out there at the moment, sunny South Africa. You're here at the 1-to-1 conference and in Darba to do what?
Oh, we're here. We were here last year. We're just getting back in contact with a lot of our brokers, fund managers, investors. It's a basic information exchange.
Yeah.
Non-fundraising, no great pressure on us, just getting the message.
Yes, nice place to be. A lot of people here are desperate for money. But you raised some recently, and saw in the headline, Saudi. That gets people excited. What's the story there?
Yeah, we raised $3 million. It was look, I'll just step back for a second on that. Now we announced, I think, back in September that we, on the back of a $3 million raise in London, that we were fully funded, and we were. I mean, all the work we've done to date was funded, and that $3 million was actually taken then to sort of cover this next phase. Yeah. The three that we took in January is really going to set us up now right through the end. It's a way of accelerating, building, accelerating, and adding a lot more value to the Pitfield project.
You got ahead of me there. So where I was going to go was you said you weren't going to, but then you did. Were you expecting to when you spoke, or was this something that just came out of the blue? You thought, let's get it in the bag when we can?
Well, the Saudi investors that came in, particularly led by one gentleman, Mr. Tamimi, is a long-term shareholder. I mean, he was in the company many, many years ago before we moved back into Australia. And he's been sitting there looking obviously about the strategic value of this, and he wanted to come in. So the timing of that, the value of that was all set around, basically his cornerstone block. He put in or contributed £2 million to the three.
Okay, so he was keen to kind of remain involved and in a decent way. Was he just a bit of it, a large chunk of it? I mean, was he significant? How much did he put out?
Oh, well, he counts for it all. All of the two of the three.
I'd say he's the whole of the two of the three. Okay. He's keen. Very keen.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the project. Okay, you did some drilling pre-Christmas. Was that about 6,000 meters?
6,000 meters, 40 holes.
Doing what? What was that telling you?
Initially, that program was targeting. Majority of that program was targeting up and down at least 25 to 30 kilometers of the strike across this big giant system. But we also put some holes in up dip. So we had some diamond core drilling. 3 holes we announced back in about October, November, in fact, early November. And we were encountering really high-grade sandstone intercepts, hundreds of meters of this really rich sandstone.
How far are you going down?
That was 400 meters, those holes. We were intercepting, some of the intercepts are over 300 meters long.
Right, so tell us about that, because my impression is this is all easy, simple mining at surface, effectively, type stuff. Why are you going down 300-400 meters?
To see where this thing extends to. Obviously, we didn't get to the bottom. Now, the holes end in minerals. Yeah. Secondly, we wanted to get a really important snapshot of the way that the beds, if you like, the sandstone, siltstone, conglomerate beds. This is a sedimentary basin, tilted on its side. So when it might have started, it might have been horizontal, but now we've tilted on our side, and all these high grades come up to surface. Yeah. But we didn't know exactly that until we drilled down through the whole beds. So those 3 holes gave us an enormous amount of structure, lithology, where the high grades are going to be found. And obviously also, very importantly, we were able to take those cores, do sections and do testing on them. So that's the material that's gone into the laboratories now for us to understand minerals and the metallurgy.
Right, he's trying to work out where the higher grade portion of this sits. Is that the gist?
That's the gist. I mean, it's so large, we could get ourselves lost just going up and down the length of it, exploring. So importantly, near surface targets, and when I say near surface, at surface, I mean, there's a little bit of soil where the wheat grows, but you're basically into the mineral. Right. So those 40 holes across, averaging about 150 metres, this is an RC program, are targeting the shallower targets every hole from top to bottom in titanium mineral, in high-grade titanium mineral. So we were very successfully identifying now where the higher grade sandstone targets sit at near surface. And that's really important for us because it changes our strategy for this next program.
Yeah, and I want to get onto that because you've got some new recruits as well, which suggests to me that you were very serious about moving this through the phases quickly. But let's talk about the second drill program, which you're starting soon?
Well, we've got a diamond rigs heading up shortly, next couple of weeks. We'll start diamond drilling before the end of February.
Right.
And the RC rigs follow about 2 weeks later.
And is that more of the same, or is there different sets of questions you're trying to answer?
Well, there's a combination there. We predominantly have found near surface 2 areas. If you look at the surface area, this is 7 kilometres in strike, about 2 kilometres wide. And there's a similar zone further to the south. So they're right located next to 2 of the big diamond drill holes that we put in.
Yep.
Those 2 target areas represent where I think, we're going to advance the project. We may not take both those areas all the way forward over the next 12 months, but, it's nice to have some optionality there.
Yeah.
But both of those on their own represent exploration, numbers that would run for billions of tonnes of ore. So we're very keen to get a number around that, grade and number near surface.
Right.
That forms part of our development strategy as we move towards adding the commercial side to this, the minerals, the processing, the product.
Yeah, and because I guess people looking into this, and we've been speaking for a while now, Shaun, is trying to understand the commerciality around this. We know it's big. We now need to understand margins and timing and the how and the who is going to advance this project forward, because it's been an exploration project for not very long, right?
Less than 12 months. We only made maiden discovery back in April, May, announced in June.
You're skipping several years there because you don't have to do too much drilling, because you got a sense of what's there. So talk to me about the new recruits, because I think that'll help us understand how you're approaching this. So who are they? What do they do?
Yeah, so we've made an announcement today that we've been putting together a team. I've hand selected a couple of very key people. Our process development manager, a metallurgist, a lady called Narelle Marriott, comes to us. She's worked ex-BHP graduate, went through the BHP training system, well advanced, in terms of her career. She's been project managing, doing development work for the last 10, 15 years. I personally have worked with her previously, so I knew she was the person I had to go and get for this. Yeah. I've also, again through my own network, brought in 2 senior titanium industry experts. We call them experts, industry technical metallurgists. Okay. Both of them have been in the industry individually for nearly 40 years. So the combined...
They're not learning on the job.
They're not. And curious enough, one of them, Dr. Nicholson, so one of the guys I've known for a very long period of time, worked for mineral sands industry, Alucas, downstream processing, synthetic rutile. His expertise, his PhD is all been about the downstream processing side of the industry. Okay. So the hydrometallurgy, the added, the extra bit about getting the titanium out. Yeah. The other gentleman, a guy called Eugene Dodengo, he spent his entire life working on gravity separation, magnetic separation, all in the titanium mineral sands industry. Right. And I find that very important for us. We're not a mineral sand, but the minerals we have a high density, a natural density, that separates them from the rest of the sandstone. And so there are 2 elements of this, the bookends. If we can beneficiate, gravity separate a concentrate, and then take the hydrometallurgical expertise that we're bringing into this, I've got a very simple pathway to get into a titanium, high-grade titanium oxide product.
Okay, so you answered the question about what was their brief. You're helping me there. In terms of some of the other gaps that need filling, do you expect to see, because again, it's about making money, right? So you've got an asset, we've got to get it over here, process, concentrate, whatever product you decide to sell into market. Those three deal with different aspects, but there's still a few gaps there. Can you give us a sort of sense of what you think what you're going to be able to do over the next 12 months, which is going to advance this to a point where, one, we understand the economics, and two, the timing of this, and three, maybe give us an idea of what questions you think you need to answer in terms of how do you insert yourself into that market. It's a difficult market.
It is. Well, there are several aspects of that. One is we recognise and accept that this is a unique, this mineral system, the titanium minerals, hydrothermal, sediment hosted, unheard of. There are no other operations around the world that I can point to and say, well, we're exactly like them. That has that represents to me opportunity. We're not a low grade sand, mineral sand that you make a concentrate out and sell it for $300. We're not a hard rock igneous miner like Rio and the Norwegians, where you have to have a big smelter. I think we can define a fairly simple processing route. Now, what do we see down the pathway, if you like, in the next 12 to 18 months? I want to build a demonstration plant. Okay. I want to build a piloting system.
Okay.
Let's not rush out and get a whole pile of engineers.
Yeah.
Let's not try and drill this thing out on a ridiculous 50 by 100 meter basis and have a JORC number, because that doesn't answer the fundamental question. How do we get the titanium out, and what do you make? Once you understand that, everything else can be done pretty quickly. So how do I accelerate that? These people that I've just mentioned have the skill sets, the talent, the experience to solve a lot of those problems. That'll be done over the next 6 to 12 months on a laboratory scale, if you like. But then I want to scale up.
Yeah, the lab is one thing, pilots another. And if I look at Pitfield and where you're based, but when do you, or who is involved with the process of understanding, well, look, the asset's here, best location for processing would be, well, at site or elsewhere, because you've got all sorts of infrastructure requirements involved with that, and you're going to need to recruit people and house them and all of those wonderful things. So
but if you've got to have the vision, if you like. Let's call it the vision. If it is to, maybe sometime in 2025, you can come out and look at an operating pilot plant sitting out there in the middle of the farm, right?
Okay.
How do I get there?
Yeah.
So what I'm working on, what my brain's doing, what I spend most of my nights trying to think about, is what are all the things that I need to do, and the company, not just me, but we as the company need to do to get there. So permitting, environmental, infrastructure, government, support, all of those little parts.
Yeah.
So the people I've told you that have just been recruited, coming, they're in the team, they're the first step.
Right.
We need to plug a few other, gaps in our team.
Exactly what I'm getting to. But you've got a little bit of government money recently as well, a little bit, but it all counts. It means you're on the radar.
It's recognition.
Recognition, not necessarily endorsement, but certainly interest. So that's a good first step. And I think given the, critical nature of what we're talking about as well in terms of the mineral, right? When do you start all of that kind of approvals process, permitting process, and all the other kind of paperwork which you're going to need to do? Now you've got a better sense of what you're about and who's going to do that, because you guys have come from an exploration background, right? So the team and the shape of that team needs to evolve, right?
So we will be making other appointments in the future. We're talking to people.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like we're there's nepotism in this, but the network we have, and the excitement that this project is generating in the industry, professionals, talented people look at this and go, "Wow, this is amazing."
It's big. It's very impressive.
So we're talking to mineralogists, geoscientists, we're talking to environmentalists, we're talking to even as commercial guys who are saying, look, I can, I'll come in and help with all the government funding.
Okay.
I mean, there's tax rebates for research and development.
Yeah.
You basically go through a process and get 50% of your R&D back. That's been happening in Australia for a long time. Do I have the bandwidth to spend my next 3 months doing that? No. So I will get people in that I can trust and can help. But it's so I understand. Look, 12 months ago when we sat here last time in Cape Town, we were still going.
It was an idea.
It's a geophysics target.
Yeah.
It might be some copper or there might be something else there, and how are you going to tackle that? We're a very different company. We're different.
Oh no, this is a very different conversation we're having, and I suspect it's a very different conversation than the one you're having over there. It would have been quite easy a year ago to kind of skip past your booth or skip past having a conversation with you because it was yet another early stage exploration. You've found something big, it's valuable. So that's why I'm asking you these questions about how do you evolve, how do you grow, who's going to come on that journey with you?
I don't want to change our fundamental, not brand, but our nature.
Yeah.
Our culture's a funny word either. We've always been lean, frugal, if you like, in terms of we don't waste money. We make decisions. If it's not working, we cut.
Yeah, no, I recognise that.
But also, we've got a small but very tight knit board. Our non-executive chair, Dr. Neil O'Brien, is a geoscientist. He's fascinated by the geology and all of this. He's really engaged in this process. So you've got lots of things to like about what Empire's done to get here, and if we fundamentally lose that, that sort of way we go about things.
That's very entrepreneurial, and I agree with you about the cutting stuff quickly. That's a slight attraction to you, quite frankly, over the couple of years that we've been talking, is the ability to not waste anyone's time and money. And get to a point, because mining's tough, exploration's really tough, right? But now you've found something, it's a point where let's monetize the heck out of this thing, right? And you sound like you want to go through the development phase yourselves, which is interesting. Having, again, looking back to where you've come from, and I'm just kind of honing in on how do you get that help? How quickly do you move? And again, when can you start talking to the market about, say the next drill? I know the drill's heading to site now, but when you've got that data, you're going to be able to come to market quickly and say, right, we think we've got a handle on the where. We think we've got a handle on where the highest grade stuff is, where we will start, and we're hiring some people who will maybe help us understand how we maximize the economics of that from an extraction point of view. Then it's the commercialization of the development of pilot plants and, et cetera, et cetera. That's the interesting journey I think you're about to embark on, and it sounds like you want to. So
absolutely. We're committed to seeing this at least. Look, how do we as a company get the best value out of this project? And I don't think that's going to be by courting other companies at the moment, or majors, or offtake partners. It's that's in the back of our minds. Yeah. But it's not where we need to go first. Where we need to go first is for us to understand the DNA, if you like, of this what is in the ground that we can, and how do we extract that? It's titanium, right? We know what we're after. There's no confusion there. The distribution of minerals, we're starting to get a handle on what sort of minerals are there, the abundance of which we haven't determined. And that's an important point. We're weeks away being able to come back to the market and say, hey, not only is it full of titanium, it's full of this type of titanium mineral. Okay. This is the dominant one. It won't be just one, by the way. And there will be areas within the ore body that are different, slightly different. Understanding that before I launch into a metallurgical program is critical. I mean, why would I go off and test, for instance, and I'm not saying this is what we haven't got or have got, why would I try and test how to produce an ilmenite concentrate if ilmenite's not the main game? So I need to understand where the value is held in the ground before I try and extract the value. But I know the market wants desperately me to come out tomorrow even and say, this is it, eureka. And it's worth X.
You've moved quickly enough.
But I can't do that.
Yeah, I know. People are always going to demand more. It's like, well done, but what next is always going to be the question.
But we're doing this. Look, we're not being, we're moving quickly. I think people need to understand we are moving as quickly as we can, but we're not randomly rushing out and doing a whole pile of silly things. We're doing it with there's method, there's science, there's rigor in what we do. I don't want to get to the end of 3 months and go, we went down the wrong path.
Yeah,
I have to go all the way back and start again. So it's pacing that out.
So shareholders, exciting year for people looking into this new. You've still got a ways to go, in your opinion. You've had a good reaction, and since we saw you in November in terms of share price appreciation. A lot of, as you say, industry having a look at this thing because of the sheer scale of it. Exciting stuff. I'm so pleased for you, really am. You've gone through the phases quite quickly. Stay in touch and let's know how everything proceeds, okay?
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
There's lots to come.
Good.